Welcome to Underwater CSI International Revealed with your hosts, Senior Investigators Rich Morin and Ed Myron.
Welcome to Underwater CSI International Revealed. I'm your host, Rich Morin, and joining me tonight is...
I'm your co-host, Senior Investigator Ed Myron.
How you doing tonight, Ed?
Pretty good, Rich. And you?
Good. We're in for a good show tonight. Tonight's show is brought to you by trailblazermedia.com. That's TRLBLZR media.com. When it comes to preserving those precious memories on a digital format, count on the professionals at Trailblazer Media. Let them develop a premier video telling your story that you'll be proud to share with your family and friends. It's a great family-run business. Leland, Rebecca, and their son, David Hall, they'll be happy to help you with all your video needs. They do a great job telling the story. You can contact Trailblazer Media at trlblzrmedia.com, also trlblzrmedia11@gmail.com if you want to send them an email, or call them at 615-547-8221. That's Trailblazer Media. So tonight's episode is going to be too many red flags. But before we get started, though, Ed, we want to give a shout out to our announcer, Randy Overton. Yep. Randy's got that deep voice at the beginning and the end of our shows, does our intros and outros. So if you ever need anybody for your video work, recording, et cetera, you need that deep voice, very articulate. Randy's your guy. Give us a shout at UWCSI@yahoo.com and send me an email and I will get back to you and put you in touch with Randy.
Yeah, we also like to give a shout out to our technical advisor, Bobby Falcon. He's helped us a great deal with all the technical information.
Yeah, with all the new gear, you'll notice that now we have video. Last year, we didn't have it for season 1. We were just kind of doing some test shows out there. It was mostly just a talk show with no video. So now we've got the video. Bobby helped us with all of that, as far as what equipment to buy, the different programs, setting everything up, et cetera, the camera work. A lot of stuff, way beyond my capabilities. If anybody knows me, they'll know that I'm not computer literate. But anyway, so thank you very much to Bobby. And then also one of our big fans, Chad Flint. Just want to give a shout out to Chad. Tell him hi. We're finally getting season 2 underway here, buddy. I know you contact me all the time. It's like, when's the next show's coming up? And so we really appreciate it and appreciate your support.
Yep. And then another diver, very good friend of ours, John Osborne. Want to say hello to John. I know he's anxiously waiting for the new episodes.
John was one of our staff members and also a fellow shark feeder, which is kind of my passion. I've been a shark feeder for many, many decades, and down at Stewart Coves down in the Bahamas. But I learned from Irvin Moss originally when he was with Stewart way back when, and I've done, I've been there probably 35 times or so, feeding sharks and helping set up the new shark. It's not new anymore, but where they feed the sharks now at, we helped set that up many, many years ago. But John's fellow shark diver, and unfortunately John had a little accident 7 years ago and kind of put him out of commission a little bit, but we're still in communication with John probably 4 or 5 times a week, talking to him a lot. And actually, I just ran an idea past John the other, I think it was last night, actually. I ran it past John about possibly doing a show on his accident. So cool. He's going to think it over, let us know. I told him it's up to him, yes or no, either way. We can talk about it. So are we ready to roll here, buddy?
We are.
All right, so we'll start off with season 2, episode 1, Too Many Red Flags. And people know that, hey, when the red flag comes up, usually means danger, or hey, something's not right here. Maybe we should think about this a little bit heavier, investigate a little bit heavier. But I'll never forget the phone call. Came in, said, Rich, you got a phone call. So, about a possible job. So I answered the phone and there's this lady on the phone and I just couldn't believe it. She says, our vehicle went down, our family vehicle went down in the water. And can you recover it? And I'm thinking to myself, well, we can recover it, absolutely. But, we're also in crime scene investigation. Not quite sure why she's starting off with this. So I asked her, I says, where are you from? New Jersey. I said, how'd you get our name? And supposedly somebody that we had recently certified as an ice diver
Right.
referred us to do the recovery work because during ice diving class, they realized that we did a lot of recoveries over the years, hundreds over the years. But so I did, I didn't say anything. I just, kind of following along and just saying, well, first of all, was anybody hurt? That's our number one priority.
Right.
No, no, no. So what was the circumstance? What happened? We were, on a family vacation.
Right.
Right.
Ski vacation.
Ski vacation.
Right.
Her husband,
And two kids.
and
Two
two
teenage children.
teenagers. All right.
Yeah.
Two teenage children.
Right.
Okay. So we were going from New York over to Vermont. Didn't
Right.
want to go the however many miles it is all the way around, down into Ticonderoga and then back up.
Right.
To
The
where they're
long route.
heading. Yeah, long route. Instead, what they're going to do is they're going to cut across Lake Champlain, where the ferry boat normally crosses over Ticonderoga.
Right.
So,
Never a
well,
good idea.
yeah, never a good idea because the ferry boats will run right up until the ice starts getting to a point where they just can't run anymore.
Right.
And then they'll pull them out. But the rest of the lake can be freezing, and you got a path that's heading across the lake, and it's a little over a mile. In that spot, very very narrow. Now Lake Champlain is it's well over 300 miles long, and I forget how wide it is, but this is probably the narrowest part of the lake. It's the southern end where it starts to funnel down into more like a river,
Right.
wide river.
Right. And that's the reason why they put the ferry there, because it was one of the most narrowest part there.
Yeah, exactly. And but there can be some current there though,
Right.
because as the lake drains, starts to come down, to the Lake Champlain Canal system, there can be a little bit of a current going. So anyway, they decided that they were going to go down the ramp on the New York side, the boat launch ramp, onto the ice and drive like heck going across the lake. Well, when they got toward the Vermont side, as they're looking, there's no ramp on the Vermont side.
Right.
There's a dock that the ferry boat will dock onto, the same as on the New York side, but the New York side also has a park right there,
Right.
and a state park right there with a state boat launch for people to launch their boats in the non-ice season. They don't have that on the Vermont side.
Right.
So they get over there and realize there's no place for us to get out.
Right.
Because they don't know the lake. If they had gone a little north, they would have been able to find an egress point, but they didn't. So then they did the worst thing. Now this is a big Chevy Suburban, so a big heavy vehicle.
Right.
So then what they did is the worst thing. They stopped, and they're pretty far from the Vermont border. They're still quite a ways out there.
Right.
And they went ahead and they stopped, debating about turning around and going back. Well, by then the vehicle started to break through, and supposedly, everybody's out okay, and, et cetera, et cetera. So
Right.
we get to call, and I'm talking to this lady and interviewing a little bit over the phone, and it's just not sounding right. When did the vehicle go through? Sunday. Today's Wednesday. Why are you calling me now? And who else have you called? Nobody. So wait, Sunday to Monday, Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, 3 days you're waiting before you're even concerned about it. So I said, did you contact the local authorities? No. What about the state police?
No.
No. What about the Coast Guard?
No.
Because Lake Champlain is international waters, because it's also part, it goes up into Canada.
Right.
And the answer was
No.
So they hadn't contacted anybody. That raises another red flag.
Correct.
So I said, well, can I talk to your husband? Was he driving? Yes. Can I talk to him so I can get some detailed information?
No.
No, can't talk to him. He's not available. Well, it'd be really beneficial if I could talk to him to try to pinpoint where it is. It's still a large body of water, and it's very dark water there. It's probably the more polluted part of the lake as it starts narrowing down. It's like, her answer every time I requested.
No.
No. So
She was very good
again,
at
more red flags, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, she
So
was
it's
very
like,
good at no.
yeah. So then it was like, okay, so where is the vehicle? Well, from the Vermont side, where the boat docks, the ferry boat docks, I could throw a baseball out to where it is. Okay. She's telling me that she can throw the baseball out. So,
Right.
so it's like, okay, well then you're not that far off of shore. No, very close to shore.
Right.
Okay. Is there any way I can get a little bit more detailed information? Did you look at any, anything specific? Did you triangulate anything? Blah, blah, blah. No.
No. No.
It's been 3 days now, exceptionally cold weather. So everything's frozen over again.
Right.
So it's not like there's going to be a big hole out there that we can just go out and go, hey, here it is. So anyway, I'm trying to get more information out of her, still trying to get her husband on the phone, and she just will not let me talk to him.
Right.
So we head on up there, and we decided to go over to the Vermont side, go over to where the ferry boat comes in and docks, parked right there. We went out approximately what we thought that she could throw a baseball to, and we cut our first hole because, again, we're going through the ice. So we had 600 feet of line with us, and it's polypropylene line, 5/8 inch, so that we put it in there bright yellow. We're sending divers down, they're doing circulars. So we're hoping to snag the vehicle at some point.
Right.
So we're doing these big circular row patterns and nothing.
Right.
Each circle we make, nothing. And we
Right.
expand out a little bit, make the circle again, nothing.
Right.
Expand out again, make the circle again, nothing.
Right.
We finally get to the end of our 600-foot line. Now, we're already back to shore now.
Yeah.
Okay. On the Vermont side, it's like, holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Where could this possibly be? We should have hit it by now. We're way further than she could throw a baseball. So we decided we're going to take a break. We've been out there for hours and hours now. And so we're taking a break, and this car's driving by and stops.
Yep.
But yeah. And the guy yells out the window. He's like, what are you looking for? Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you guys looking for? You're fishing.
Yeah. So it's like, well, supposedly Chevy Suburban went down here on Sunday. And he goes, that's not where it is. It's like, what do you mean?
You guys are looking in the wrong spot.
Yeah, you're looking in the wrong spot. It's way over there. And he's pointing northwest of where we are. He goes, it's way out there. And he goes, really? This lady said that it was right close to the boat dock, and if anything, just a little south of it. And, she could throw a baseball to it. He goes, well, she's got to have one heck of an arm, because there's no way you're going to throw a baseball that far.
Right.
So this guy seemed pretty determined. I asked him, I says, well, how do you know? He goes, I was here. I go, you were here? He goes, yeah. I gave the guy a ride back to New York to his hotel.
Right. Right. A guy.
And I said, you mean his family? No, just one guy. It's like, what do you mean one guy? Supposedly his wife and the two teenage children in it. He goes, there's nobody else here. It was just this one guy.
Right.
Red flags. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, exactly.
Just popping up all over the place. So it's like, what the heck is going on here?
Right. Right.
So I asked him, I says, hey, if I put you in flotation device and a neoprene jumpsuit, I said, you got plenty of warmth, plenty of flotation. If for some reason you fell through, we'll have a harness on you, we'll have a line on you. If we bring you out there, I says, can you show us where you think it was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can you put us on it, or at least get us close to it?
Yeah. And this guy was like, I'll bring you right out to where it was.
Yeah.
So we did that. We got him all dressed up. He's in flotation equipment. We got a full body harness on him and a line. At the end of the line, we got a big floating float ball or tuna ball that's on it. So there's no way he's going to go anywhere. We go out there, and I'm telling you, this guy put us right on top of it.
Right.
We could see where the ice had been broken up. We could see where it had been refrozen. And it was like, he goes, it was right here.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I just can't believe how detailed this guy was, because it never happens that way.
No.
It's usually like, oh, it's right out there somewhere.
It's right. It's right over here somewhere.
Yeah, and you're looking at their finger, and they're covering about 2 miles out in the, and it's, of course, it's always out in the middle, or it's always in the deepest part of the lake or river or ocean or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, he put us right on top of it. So it's like, wow, man, we really appreciate this. You saved us a lot of aggravation. So we went ahead and moved everything, out to the new location, cut a new hole because everything was it's frozen over,
Right.
and dropped
Jumped in.
down. I mean, right on the vehicle. This guy was dead on.
Yeah.
We dropped down right on it. Big Chevy Suburban sitting on the bottom. So we're trying to look through the windows because, again, we try to photograph and videotape everything before we touch anything. And we're trying to look through the windows, and they're tinted, and plus with the dark water, with the ice overhead, cloudy skies, it was nearly impossible to see inside. And we're wondering whether or not this guy offed his family, and the
Right.
family's still in the vehicle.
So
We don't know.
right.
So we finally try the doors,
And the
and the
doors
doors are locked. Yeah. Who takes time to take your keys and lock your doors as your vehicle's sinking?
right. With
Who,
your
what?
entire,
So,
supposedly with your entire family.
yeah.
Right.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
The doors are locked. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And the keys are gone. So he
And
took the keys with him, put it in park, took the keys with him, and locked the doors.
Right. Okay.
So it's
Everybody
like,
out so I can
yeah,
lock up. I don't want anybody to bother the Suburban while it's underwater.
unbelievable. So we decided at this point what we were going to do is we were going to bust out the sunroof
Right.
because we really didn't want to disturb the rest of the vehicle, et cetera. So we take a spring-loaded center punch. You go to one of the corners of the windows, and you just, grab onto, whatever you can, the top edge of the window itself on the driver or passenger side. And you press real hard, and a spring-loading center punch, will actually kick back and hit the window and shatter it.
Right.
So we break out the sunroof, drop it upside down, and the first thing that you come across is that there's a half empty bottle, the big square bottle of Jack Daniels. I'm a non-drinker, and
Right.
and
And then
never
one of the
drank,
other
so
things. Oh, sorry.
I don't know how big of a bottle that was. I'm sorry, Ed,
Right.
what were you saying?
No, I said, and one of the other things that we also recognized was, where's the skis? Where's the luggage?
Yeah, there's no skis on top of the car.
Right.
There's no luggage in the vehicle for a
Right.
family of 4 on a ski vacation.
Right.
Now, supposedly, when I interviewed this lady, also, I had asked her, I said, experienced skiers. Oh, yeah, we ski a lot, quite a bit. So, who is going to be an experienced skier and not carry their equipment with them? Especially, they're from New Jersey. They're coming up to New York and Vermont to supposedly go skiing.
Right.
So, here is this half empty bottle of Jack Daniels sitting on the seat. In between the 2 seats, the driver's seat and the passenger seat up front, is the rifle.
Yep.
That's there. Okay. It's an air rifle. Okay. But I mean, you can use it for hunting. It's
Yeah,
that powerful.
Yeah, it's still
It's
a weapon.
deadly. It's still a deadly weapon.
Right.
Okay. Roll of duct tape,
Right.
rope.
Yep.
And what was kind of floating all around the inside of the vehicle?
Yeah. So small children's like underwear or panties.
Yeah. Little girl's panties.
Right.
Like maybe
Floating
for
all
a
around.
3, 4, 5-year-old.
Right.
Little girl's panties.
Right.
No luggage, no skis. Okay.
No teenager type stuff in this vehicle.
Nothing. Duct tape, rope, rifle, half empty bottle of Jack Daniels,
Right.
all within reach of the driver, like that.
I think
What is
there's
going
more
on?
red flags right there.
What is going on?
Right.
So we notify the Vermont State Police, and the trooper that responded. I was never more disgusted in my life. We told him everything that we were finding out there. Oh man, I just recover the vehicle, and I don't want to know about it. And
Yeah,
my
I don't
shift's
have
almost
time.
done. Don't make something out of it that it's not. And blah 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 blah. And I told him, I said, I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it that you're not going to start an investigation. We're giving you all this potential evidence,
Nope.
a potential crime scene,
Right.
right? I mean, I already have an idea in my head what's going on.
And we
But,
listed it as a potential crime scene.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's like, are you kidding me? And he was not going to get involved. He could care less.
Right.
So we contacted the Coast Guard, and because the lake is frozen, they drove down in this massive truck of theirs. And we were telling them what we found. They said, yeah, it sounds very suspicious. However, Vermont State Police has the authority here. So whatever he says, blah. I says, I can't believe that you guys aren't going to do something about it. Nobody here is going to do something about this.
Right.
This is unbelievable.
Yep.
So at that point, we make the decision that, you know what, we're close enough to the
New York.
border that the line is down the middle of the lake, that we're going to actually make threader holes. And what a threader hole is every so often, determined by visibility, every so often you cut another hole big enough for a single diver to come up.
Right.
Then we have a pole that we stick down that has lights coming out from every direction, 360 all the way around. And the divers are always in a harness. They're always a full body harness, and they're always connected to a 5/8 inch polypropylene line, so that way it's thick enough that you can grab onto even with cold hands. It'll float. It's brightly yellow, so if there's ever an issue, the line will actually float underneath the surface of the ice.
Right.
Hopefully the diver goes there, and we've got certain procedures for recovering a separated diver, which we've never had to use, in the 40 plus years we've been
Right.
diving. But anyway, we decide that, we're going to cut a threader hole. And then what we do is we send the diver in the hole where the vehicle is. We put lift bags on the vehicle and bring it up to where it's under the ice. Okay. So the bags are still under the ice.
Right.
Then from there, that diver takes the compass heading. And then as they go, they look for the light, okay, from the pole that's stuck down. And they just go to the light. Now, if they can't find it for whatever reason, we pull them back to the original hole. So they're never detached at that point. Once they get to the threader hole, they come up, they hand us the line that they also brought a separate line down and attached it to the front of the vehicle.
Right.
All right. And bring that along with them. They hand us that line up. From there, we go ahead and hook another line onto that diver. We unhook the original line, pull it back through the original hole. Then we get ready to send the diver, do the same procedure for the next threader hole.
Right.
In the meantime, when they're heading to the next threader hole, or once they get to the next threader hole, so this be threader hole number 2, then we pull the vehicle up to threader hole 1, the first
Right.
one that we cut. All right, under the ice. It slides pretty easy. The bags just slide
Bags just
underneath
slide.
the ice. It's like a sheet of glass.
Yep.
Yep. And then we continue that on. You know that very well, because one of the jobs that we did by the Canadian border, I forgot how far we had to tow that truck underneath the ice.
Miles.
It was a long ways. I mean,
Yep.
There was no roads. There was nowhere to egress it. Nothing but forest on each side. Heavily. There was nothing. You just couldn't get it out anywhere. The closest place was. It had to have been. How far do you think it was?
Oh, that.
Mile plus.
Yeah, it was well over 2 miles.
Yeah. It was just. We were out there 2 solid days.
Right.
Just
Sub-zero
nonstop.
temperatures.
It was just crazy. Yeah. With the wind howling. What was it, like 40 below zero, something like
Yeah,
that?
it was 36 at one point, and even colder than that with the wind chill. Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, brutal, absolutely brutal. And we had to do that threader hole for such a long distance before we could get to a summer camp, where they actually had a boat ramp, going down on the water where they could launch their boat. That was the first camp we came across, but the road wasn't plowed.
Right.
Anyway, I'm getting off track here. That we could use that as another story.
Yeah.
At some point.
So while you're talking about this, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen so that the people can see what we encountered.
Yeah.
Once we brought it to the surface, right?
Yeah, this was afterwards. We actually cut that's Kurt Riley in the hole right there, who was one of our senior divers there. That's a channel that we had to cut in order to egress the vehicle, and once it floated up and stuff, we're getting ready to, cut a little bit more in front of it and then eventually get the vehicle up out of there. It wasn't safe enough to bring the vehicle back up onto the ice. It wasn't going to hold it. So that's why we had to pull it all the way under. But and you can see the sunroof there right by the corner of that one ice block that's
right
on top there, where the sunroof is broken
Right
out.
about
Yeah,
this area here where it was punched out.
Yep. Yep. Excellent. Anyway, so from there we go ahead and we bring it over to the New York side. And the reason we did that is we've worked with New York State Police a lot over the
Yep.
years.
Yep.
Great bunch of guys. They you know welcomed it with open arms to investigate. It sounded very suspicious to them. They opened up an investigation, and once the vehicle was out of the water, it was taken over by the New York State Police so they could go ahead and do their investigative work on it, et cetera. And we didn't get the whole story because, again, when we are done, once it's up out of the water, we turn it over to whatever the authority is there. We're
Right.
just an extension of their eyes and ears and arms underwater. We
Right.
basically try to apply land-based crime scene techniques to an underwater situation whenever possible. So once we get it up there, we turn all the evidence over to them, or potential evidence, I should say, and we give our statements, et cetera. Then we go back and we write our reports, and then from there we submit our report to them, also a copy of it.
Right.
And then from there they take over. Now, even though we had a lot of buddies at that time on the state police dive team, um, they don't usually hear back either. What happens is it eventually gets turned over to an investigative team, and
Right.
then it goes from there. But from what we found out, though, that it was it looked like a child abduction ring.
Right.
So it was kind of good, to put some bad people out of business, especially that kind of business. I'm not quite sure what happened to them. I'm hoping that they got prosecuted and got put in jail or rot, as far as I'm concerned. But so
But
anyway,
it goes back to what we said in many shows before, many episodes before. The phone rings and your day changes, right?
absolutely.
Yep. So it
You can go ahead and get rid of that picture, Ed.
Yep. So you can, you can be working on one thing, phone rings, and now we're off, to Vermont to go out on the ice. So
Yeah, you never know what it's going to entail, what it's going to turn into. Here we
right.
thought we were going to do a recovery. Actually, we be honest, we kind of had an idea something was foul here because of all the red flags, and she just absolutely refused to let us talk to her husband.
Right.
But they had no idea that they were calling, Underwater CSI International.
Right.
Um,
They thought they were just calling some divers to come up and recover a vehicle and
yeah.
move on.
Well, because we also had multiple dive centers that we
Right.
owned over
Right.
the years, and we had people that managed those and helped run those and stuff. We did recreational programs, and we did commercial work also. And basically, I always said that our name of our business should have been anything underwater for a buck. That should have been the name of the business, because it's about
Right.
what it is, especially in the Northeast.
Exactly.
But yeah, but it's yeah, you just never know. And in a situation like that, when you drop in and there's a half empty bottle of Jack Daniels, which you got an open bottle of liquor, you got a rifle that there, which was loaded, you got rope, you got duct tape, you got little girls' panties, no luggage, no skis.
No skis.
You got an eyewitness that says there was only one person that he gave a ride to. I mean, at first I was expecting to find 3 bodies or 2 bodies. I'm thinking, okay, they off their kids.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
what they did. The kids are going to be floating around in the back of the vehicle.
Right.
But no,
Thank God that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it wasn't the case at all. And I have a feeling what they did is they were cutting across, or he was cutting across into Vermont to, possibly find a victim
Right.
in Vermont, or multiple victims.
Yeah.
From the way things looked.
Right.
But anyway, so that was kind of it as far as too many red flags. Again, you never know what to expect.
Right.
Sometimes when we get these calls too, people think that we we've got divers that are in full gear sitting on a bench, just kind of sitting there all day long waiting for the bell to ring, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
We got to respond. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
It's not like
Sometimes was that?
it's not like the fire department. We don't
Yeah.
come down the pole with all our gear on and we're ready.
Yeah. We have um, people that are working, they're working for us. So
Right.
they're off doing, doing other jobs or other tasks, et cetera. And, we do crossover, a lot of our people are also recreational scuba instructors along with crime scene investigators. And, and a lot of them are the commercial divers,
Right.
that'll, come over to the CSI stuff also. Um, so very specialized individuals, I mean, experts in what they did, for sure. But so we really have to leave it up to certain people to make sure that things are packed well, stuff like that. That's where Robbie Green comes in. That's where in the past Marty Bedell came in, John Osborne, things like that. I mean, these guys really kept things going, Kurt Riley, et cetera. I mean, these guys really did did a heck of a job. Especially keeping everything organized. We had bins that were all okay. This bin has X amount of
Lines.
rigging equipment.
Right.
Different size lines or chains, etc.
Carabiners and so on.
Yeah, carabiners and lift bags. I mean, I don't know how many dozens of lift bags that we had, but uh, anything from small 100-pound bags that we used to use for some light training for advanced programs or something to
Right.
all the way up to multi-thousand pounds,
Oh yeah.
10,000-pound plus bags
Yep.
like that, and everything in between. But so you can't pack everything for every single job. We would need all of our trucks and all of our trailers and stuff heading off, and just an enormous staff where
Right.
people are going to be standing around. So we try to have it all set up to where, okay, this is what the job is going to entail. This is the
Right.
equipment that we're going to need. And a lot of it is from past experience. We've done over 700 calls over the years or cases that we've worked on. So, very experienced team, did a great job, putting stuff together. Or when we use the boat, when we got the boats out there, the boat has to be loaded so that the last thing we're going to need is the first thing that's
First
going to
thing.
go in the boat.
Right.
So that when the equipment techs are on the surface, handling the equipment to the divers that are in the water, we don't have the time for them to be, oh, let me look for that.
Right.
We need to pack it. So this is what we're going to need. That's why we have these thorough briefings ahead of time. All right,
Right.
this is what we've got. This is how we're going to attack it. This is
Right.
what our plan is. Okay.
Exactly.
We also have to come up with contingencies. And sometimes even the contingency, once we get there, it's not going to work. So we got to
Right.
change that sometimes.
Right.
Or like
Yeah,
in the
So
oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, like you just said, many times it's all dependent on, so we get to the scene and things have changed, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
The weather has changed.
Yeah.
The conditions of the water has changed. Uh, the people that are there, right? How many times have we shown up and people are telling us, "Hey, why are you doing it that way? You should be doing it." How many
Drives me-
times that happened?
Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
So I mean,
Like the Ethan Allen Torbo tragedy. We did all the underwater forensics, all the investigative work under there, a lot of the photography, videography, along with Warren County Sheriff's Department and the New York State Police. But we also were responsible for recovering the vessel. But Mark Rosenkar, who was the acting head of the NTSB at that time, or head of the NTSB at that time, he came up and he says, I don't want any additional damage done to this boat. We would never do that anyway. I mean, that's
Right.
one thing that we pride ourselves in. We make sure that, as we're recovering stuff, it comes up as just, just like it went down,
Right.
we pride ourselves in not doing any additional damage to whatever it is that we're recovering.
exactly.
But all of a sudden it's like, okay, we really didn't have rigging points for that vessel. So here I am, Monday morning, crack of dawn, braiding a harness,
Right.
All right. Taking rope and braiding all the pieces to make it look like a big cargo net with
Right.
different rigging points on the side. So with loops on it, braided loops coming down at different heights. And they've got to be equal on both sides
Right.
so that the bags are coming up even so it doesn't end up pulling your harness out.
Right.
So I mean that took me hours and my hands were just raw from working with that nylon line,
Yeah, sure.
you know. And but it had to be perfect because once we got it to the surface, then we had to re-rig. We had to continue to rig in order to lift it. That was a whole different story as far as how we had to do that. Very, very technical on that one, and we're going to share that actually as we go on. That's going to be
Right.
our last show of the season 2.
Yep.
So we're going to talk heavily about that. It's going to actually last us a couple shows.
Okay.
But
So now as your co-host, right, we're almost out of time.
all right.
I want to make sure that we can thank everyone for listening, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we hope everybody enjoys the stories. And again, real quick, how much time we got, Ed?
We got about 10 minutes
Okay.
or less,
Um,
especially with you talking. So
yeah, I know I kind of get off track here a little bit and get excited. I got a lot of passion for what I've done over the years.
absolutely.
And just love it. Everyone who's ever worked with me or got certified with us, I hope they could see that passion over the years.
Absolutely.
But now I forgot what I was going to say. Old age, train of thought. But as far as that goes over the years, we've issued over 8,000 certifications. We hope some of those people are listening. Reach out to me if say hi. Some of the old timers that we certified years ago. God, some of the kids that we certified
Yeah,
decades ago, a lot of them
aren't
can be retired now.
aren't kids anymore.
Yeah, they're not kids
They
anymore.
have kids now.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, but we thank everybody so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Once again, our goal is to, Ed and I were offered a television series by 2 different networks, big networks, well-known networks. But we were offered a television series that we ended up walking away from after we spent quite a few years working with them because
Yep.
they weren't exactly truthful with us up front. But we put together the first network wanted 24 shows over a 2-year period, 12 shows each season. The second network wanted 36 shows, 3-year contract.
Right.
So we put together a sample deck, which was basically an electronic storyboard of all the episodes. And you got to write all the episodes out and stuff. So you're working with a writing team, and they want to concentrate on certain things, or they want to sensationalize other parts of it and stuff like that. And you're working with a production company, and but when it came time to pilot time and final contract, we walked away.
Yeah, they
because
wanted to go a certain direction, and that was not the direction we wanted to go in.
yeah, and it's not what we discussed when we first started talking to them.
Correct.
Now they want complete ownership. They
Right.
want to own our logo, they want to own our stories, they want to own basically everything.
Right.
They could basically fire us from our own show.
Right.
Fire us, we'd still get paid for it, but we wouldn't be allowed on set or anything like that.
Right.
And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And as we're reading through the contract, and it's like, no, and then I forgot which network it was, but I think it was the second one that told us, people would give their right arm to have their own television series. And remember my response? Well, then contact them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, but anyway, so what we're trying to do is, with the podcast, to try to get enough corporate sponsorship together where hopefully we can, start doing reenactments, and telling these stories with actual dive circumstances and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
And, we don't know where it's going to lead, but who knows? But for the
It's fun.
meantime,
It's fun
enjoy.
anyway, right here. I mean,
What's that, bud?
we're having a good time doing this.
Yeah, we really appreciate people listening to us. 2 old guys still trying to stay in the game
Yep.
is what it really boils down to. And, still very active divers, but, our best years are probably behind us. I mean,
Well, yours are.
well, yeah. But then also people have asked us about starting a training organization.
Right.
certification agency, Underwater CSI International, um, basically a school.
Right.
Where, because I've authored a lot of courses now with Underwater CSI. Originally, I submitted them to an international training organization for certification, for approval and stuff like that, and found out that they were basically stealing they were plagiarizing my programs is what they
Your
were doing.
ideas. Yep.
Yeah, I got a call in the middle of the night from somebody in management of this organization, said, "Rich, stop sending stuff into us because we're I'm going to tell you right now, they're stealing it from you."
Yeah,
So we
exactly.
stopped. Yeah. So I
Right.
mean, but I've had 62 courses in underwater crime scene investigation.
Right.
So I mean, plenty to put a certification agency together. So yeah, if we can get enough funding for that too, I'd love to go that direction too.
Love to do that. Yep.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate it. It was
All right.
once again, man, I love working with you, pal. I love you, bud.
Yeah, man, I
And
love you too. And another great show. Again, thank you to everyone out there. Um, I'm Senior Investigator Ed Myron, and of course, our host,
Senior Investigator Rich Moore.
Senior Investigator Rich Moore. Yep.
Thanks for listening, Chad.
Thanks to everyone listening. Appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next episode. All right, take care.
All right, bud.
Bye.
On behalf of everyone at Underwater CSI International, Revealed, this is Randy Overton. Thank you for tuning in. Underwater CSI International Revealed is for entertainment purposes only. The information revealed is not intended, nor is it a substitution for the proper training and education received from a qualified dive professional. Certain episodes are loosely based on and may be modified from actual cases. Some episodes are fictional based, featuring procedures that could possibly be used by underwater investigators. Resemblance to destinations, actual cases, or persons living or deceased is purely coincidental.